What is good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe to this channel, of course, comment below, hit the bell notification, let us know what you think about the content of these videos. Of course, give us your thoughts on what we discuss on here. So without further ado, let's speak about it. And the weigh-in for Luke Campbell versus Ryan Garcia, King Rye versus Cool Hand Luke Campbell has just taken place. Good news on that front. Both guys have weighed well inside the 135-pound limit. Campbell weighed in, I think it was 135 pounds on the dot, bang on the lightweight limit, and Garcia also, right on the limit. So both guys, Garcia, looks shredded, completely, cut. And as does Campbell. Campbell looks really cut, looks really shredded. Both guys now can breathe a sigh of relief. This is a time now where they can go, they can have something to eat. They don't have to worry now about the weight, about anything really. They've just got to now think about the fight, think about what they're gonna do, what they're gonna, what the strategy is gonna be. And they've just got to really eat, think about getting a meal, getting nourished a bit, and just focusing now. They just got to forget about it now. All the hard work's done now. They've worked hard in the gym. They've got themselves tremendous shape. Both men, both guys look like they're ready to do the distance. So yeah, let's get into a little bit. In terms of tactics here, I think this will be quite an interesting fight, because Ryan Garcia, from what I've seen of him, I haven't seen all of his fights, I haven't seen his whole career, but I've seen a fair few of them, seen some on Sky and stuff like that. And Garcia is quite a crafty guy, crafty sort of counter puncher. He's got height and reach over, advantage over the vast majority of his opponents. A lot of his opponents that he's faced have been shorter guys, because obviously lightweight, you're talking, what is it, 9.5 stone, something like that, and these are mostly sort of smaller guys. And he's faced a lot of guys who have come to him. He's faced a lot of guys who have come and given him something to work with, guys who have sort of attacked him and been on the front foot. He hasn't really he's faced a few guys that sort of back off, but none of the sort of skill level of a guy like Luke Campbell. This is going to be a different pedigree. This is going to be a much higher level of opposition that he's facing now. He's been facing guys that have come to have a scrap, come to have a fight, and in most of Garcia's wins, he thrives off of guys coming towards him, and he's very clever, very sharp in what he does. He likes to walk people onto his brilliant left hook. That left hook of Ryan Garcia is really a proper weapon. He really uses it well. It almost reminded me, not exactly, but reminded me of Jeff Lacey, because they had a promo video on Garcia where it's, the left hook, the Ryan Garcia left hook, and they keep showing him bowling people over with the left hook, and that's a punch definitely Campbell's got to be prepared and got to be ready for, because Garcia really uses that as a weapon. He lures guys into to a little trap. He sets that trap for them, lures them in, lines them up, and bang, left hook over the top, and he takes guys out with it. So that's also, that's a good weapon for orthodox fighters against southpaws. That's one of the punches that, as Teddy Atlas says, it's a southpaw killer. I think the right hand is the one he calls southpaw killer, but yeah, left hook is always dangerous against the southpaw. And Garcia, I think once he gets comfortable into the fight, that will be a good weapon he could try and use against Luke Campbell, but I reckon he'd have to try and use a long left hook against Campbell, and I think that's one of the weapons Campbell's got to look out for. He's also got to look out for the counter right hand, I think, because Garcia also loves that counter right hand. He likes to draw guys on again to his right hand and whack them with it as they're on the way in. you know, just draws him onto that right hand, and a few of his knockouts have been coming from that shot as well, just that straight right hand. And as the guys come in, they collide with it and it kind of doubles the impact. So those are two big shots that I would say Campbell got to look out for. The right hand, because a lot of orthodox guys like to throw that against southpaws. I've been a victim of it myself. You know, I used to box as a southpaw, and yeah, it's one of them where orthodox fighters tend to sometimes just abandon the jab and just throw that right hand, sometimes right hand over the top. And Garcia's got a pretty good right hand, pretty good left hook. So I think Campbell's going to have to watch out for them, and Garcia's going to have to try and draw Campbell onto those sort of shots and try and hit him with one. He's claiming he wants to take Campbell out, and I think if he sort of goes ahead and tries to do that on the front foot, I think that'll play right into Luke Campbell's hands. And I think as far as Campbell tactically, I think Campbell's got to, in a way, kind of box his normal fight, you know, use his height, use his reach. Although they're kind of the same sort of height, I think he's got to sort of make sure he does the basics right, keep his right foot on the outside of Garcia's left foot, Garcia's lead left foot, and you know, just apply those basics that you get taught as a southpaw. You know, keep your foot on the outside of the other guy's lead foot and always stick that jab in his face. I think for Campbell, his way of winning this fight is going to be, if he does win it, is going to be led by a good, solid, stiff right jab. And I think because they're both counter punchers, if for Campbell's sake, in order for Campbell to win, what he's got to do is sort of use his jab, and then and if he uses it effectively, kind of, as I always like to say, one of the punch I was taught early in life, you know, that double jab. And I think if Campbell can employ a good hard single jab and mix it up and double it up sometimes, one to the body, one to the head, and if he can sort of keep Ryan Garcia busy with his jab, and then mix it up and draw him onto a left hand, use that hook off of the jab, use that right hook, because Luke Campbell's got a good right hook. That is one of his best shots, is a nice right hook, lead right hook. And I think if he can mix that up, double his jab up, and sort of lead Garcia onto his shots, and of course he can sometimes jab and then hook off the jab, do a little right hook off of the jab. I think that'll be a way of him leading towards victory, because I think if he can keep Ryan Garcia occupied with his jab and make sure that jab is a thudding, thumping jab, a jab that lets the man know you're there, and double it up and make it sort of count, and then let your backhand go, shoot to the body as well. I think that's another good thing. Sergio Mora was saying that as well on the broadcast. I think for Campbell, that's kind of what he's got to do to win. Sort of lead with a jab, double it up, triple it up, jab, vary it to the body and head, change the levels. And I think Campbell can also do some good work to the body of Ryan Garcia. Once he's finished with a jab, bring shots downstairs, bring them over the top, and start everything with the jab, and make sure you're using that jab throughout the fight. I think that weapon will be the key to victory. And with Garcia, he's got to sort of, as the orthodox fighter, I guess, I don't know what he's going to do with the jab. He might abandon the jab a little bit, he might not jab, but in a sense, for him to win, he could jab with the jabber, and he could adopt a few tactics of sort of short man tactics. And I think for Garcia, because he's boxing a southpaw, and sometimes southpaws do win the battle of the jabs because they're rare, and you don't box many southpaws, fewer left-handed and right-handed people, so it's a style that you don't face very often. So for Garcia, he could kind of make himself a little bit smaller, try and jab his way in, or come under the jab of Campbell, or counter the jab of Luke Campbell with a nice right hand. You know, he could come forward and move his head on the way in, because he doesn't really move his head that much. Garcia, but I think that's because he's tall and he's rangy, so he keeps guys at bay, so he doesn't really need to move his head that much because he's not really in punching range. But against Campbell, they're going to be equal in height, so he could even adopt some up close tactics and try and work away, get past the jab of Luke Campbell with head movement, and then try and counter when Campbell throws a jab, try and slip it and counter with the right hand, that little trick there. I think that could be a little key to victory for Ryan Garcia. And this is one of them fights that I think overall is kind of a 50-50. I'm on my previous video, I'm saying, you know, I'm sort of leaning towards Luke Campbell, but I think it's very, very close. Obviously the X factor here is that Campbell's mixed with the best of the best. Ryan Garcia hasn't, so there's still a question mark over Ryan Garcia as to how good he is exactly. So you could argue that the safe bet is with Luke Campbell because of that. Others are seeing the potential of Ryan Garcia and saying, wow, he's the second coming, he's the next golden boy. And don't get me wrong, those things could all be true. Those things could all turn out to be true. I know there's a lot of money going on Garcia. He's the favorite, but I think, again, in this fight, the fact of the matter is the proven man is Luke Campbell, and in a sense that's why I'm sort of going with him. But I think I'm going with him by a very narrow margin because Garcia is very good, and this could very well be a fight where he comes of age. But again, this is something that we'll have to wait. It's just over 24 hours away from the fight, so we'll have to wait and see. And I believe it's one of them where I think if Ryan Garcia is the real deal, if he's not just hype, then he will win this fight and he will win on points. But if he's anything short of the real deal, if Campbell's the real deal, then I think Campbell wins this fight. And I'm ever just so slightly picking Luke Campbell, but it going the other way, especially in America, in Texas, away, you know, on away soil, I wouldn't be surprised with a Garcia victory, but I'm kind of sticking to my guns here, and I think Campbell wins this one in a close points decision. So until next time, that's just my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, this is MKO Pugilism, over and out. Catch you on the next one.